Okay, so this is another Survivor Sunday. Do you know what episode this was? Like 10, 11?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not sure. I haven't been keeping track of the numbers. Episode several was a while ago. But I think this was the final 7. So next week should be the final 6, and I believe the week after that is gonna be the finale.
Already?
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, we've only got 6 people
it's
left.
gone so
7,
fast.
including this episode. Um, you want to start with this one, Mom? Like, what do you remember, or what were some of the things that stuck out to you about this
I
episode?
thought, wasn't it Q talking? Did it start at, was it Venus? Did it start
I think
off
it was
with,
Kenzie that it started
or was
with.
it Kenzie talking?
Because last week was the Tiff blindside, which
Yeah,
is something Kenzie really wanted to do and was getting people in on. It was something Maria wanted to do and get people in on. And then last week, Maria's like, hey, Kenzie, do you still want to do this? And Kenzie says no. Like, I'm kind of good. I don't think we should do it yet. And then they
yeah,
did it
yeah.
anyways. And then Kenzie's like, oh, though, they blindsided me. They didn't include
Yes,
me in on
yeah,
this. And, like, I'm
yeah,
so upset. Why would they not include me on this? And I'm thinking to
yes.
myself, because you said no.
Yeah, and I think she was kind of nervous. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if they didn't include me, maybe they're planning to get me out
Mm-hmm.
next. So I need to, kind of find. And she also said nobody's really talking to her.
No, because I feel it seems like people. That sounds like more Venus.
Yeah, but remember then she went and she found Venus, and then Venus started talking to her. She was kind of feeling left out. I think, unless I'm remembering the wrong
No,
stuff.
maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It has been a
Yeah,
few days.
yeah. But then you go ahead,
Oh,
cause
I'm trying. So I think if I'm remembering it correctly, so she does start talking about, I was left out of my plan. No one told me. And again, I'm watching it thinking, it's not that no one told you. It's that they were like, hey, are we gonna do this? No, I don't really want
yeah,
to. And then they
yeah,
said, okay, well then clearly you're not in it. We're just gonna do it then.
yeah,
And because Tiff went home with an idol in her pocket, her idol has been rehidden, so everyone's looking for it, which is interesting because Hunter went home with that idol too. So
yeah.
theoretically, that's also there, and just no one's for sure. I think my read from what we have seen in the edit, I don't think they believed Hunter had an idol. I think they thought he was just bluffing,
Yes,
which is
yes.
why no one was really looking for it.
Okay, okay.
And so Tiff, everyone, like, no, it's for sure she has an
Yes,
idol. People have seen it.
she
People have
talked about
verified
it.
it. She has
Yeah,
talked about
and
it.
what?
We know it is out there, so everyone goes looking for it. And do you remember who found it? It
Venus.
was Venus. And Venus is like, look, I got it. I'm going nowhere. If I feel the heat, I am playing it. I
Yes.
can't believe these dumb idiots who go home with an idol in their pocket. I do not want to be someone who goes home with an idol in her
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah. I think she did a very good job, though, of, you know, getting it off of her. Like, no, I didn't find it. And she keeps looking. But
Which,
Kenzie's saying, oh, what is
yeah,
wrong
she's
with
like, she's
Venus?
so hopeless
She's
at
so
finding
hopeless.
idols.
Yeah, she just kind of shakes her hands into something and moves on and it's because she had the
Mhm.
idol, you know.
And I thought that was really funny, but I was watching it, and at first I'm like, okay, Venus, you know what? You found it. You're not telling anybody. You are keeping it to yourself. I love to see that. I love to
Yes,
see someone who
yes,
can keep a secret because I don't, as we've seen with Tiff, once people know about it, it has no power.
yeah, yeah,
Because then you're like, cool, we're just gonna vote you out and get rid
yes.
of it. And at that point, it's just burning a hole in your pocket, as we saw with Hunter. And he's like, do I do it? Do I not?
Yeah,
Don't tell anybody, and when you know it's you, play it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And we're skipping ahead here, but when her conversation with Charlie made me so mad. Do you remember how that went, Mom?
I think Charlie was asking her who she's planning to vote for, and then she went into this long thing about them being friends and she's going to let him know something. There's something that just happened, but she's not going to tell him right
Mm-hmm.
now because she feels like she has to wait. And I mean, she was basically telling him, I have an idol. That's what it sounded like to me. She just did not say, I have
Yes.
idol.
It was the way it came across. I feel like what Venus was trying to say is, I am interested in working with you and going, because I think Charlie was saying, is like, a Final Four, like, what do you think about that? Who are you looking forward to? And it sounded like what she was trying to say is, if we all make it through this vote, then I am really strongly trusting you. If we can get through this, I believe in a strong Final Four, like with you, me, I think it was Kenzie and Liz. We can go forward, and I'll have some more information that I want to give you later. But, trust isn't, I don't want to give it freely. I want you to earn it. And, like, if you earn my trust here, like, I will do everything I can to take care of you.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like she was trying to say.
But she was also hinting about something.
Mm-hmm.
She was hinting that, because when he went and started speaking to everyone else, he said, I think she has an idol.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think she does.
Yes.
But she was hinting to it.
Yeah, because she's like, I've got something.
Yeah,
Are you going to tell me what it is? No. Like, you'll have to find out and see what I've got. He's like, look, if you want to work with me and establish trust, tell me.
Yes.
And the way you're dancing around the subject makes me feel like I can't trust you and that you're not reliable.
Yeah.
Which has been kind of a theme of the season, is people saying, we don't trust Venus. We don't think Venus is good with keeping secrets. We don't think Venus is very reliable. And so Charlie's like, I'm trying to rely on this person, and she's not giving me anything back. She's being, as he says, like, she's being very cagey with it, and it makes me very uncomfortable to work with this. So I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Charlie in a bit, but do you remember how the challenge went?
The challenge, it was a reward challenge and necklace challenge.
Yes.
I believe it was, what were they doing?
It was this
that long.
It was like a few round obstacle course thing. It was like you have to balance with a thing, and then you have to.
It was a ball on a stick.
And then a ball on a stick that you have to move through a maze.
And it was a ball on a stick too at the beginning.
Because that was you have to balance to get through it and have it not fall.
Yeah, ramps and stuff. And they all did well on that part.
I remember, I think it took Ben and Venus a while, but by the end of the challenge, it was everyone is in it. Anyone can win at any time.
And Venus was ahead at some time. She was ahead. Maria and Venus. They ended up
came down to
being
the two of them.
The two of them. And then Maria won.
Yes.
And then she had a reward.
Yes.
And the reward was pizza.
It was pizza.
And she had to take, was it?
So at first she's asking Jeff, how many people do I take? He's like, pick one and then I'll let you know. And she's like, okay.
I'll go for Ben because he's really hungry and he needs some nourishment. And of course, he goes and he's crying and he's so excited, and then she gets to pick someone else.
She gets to pick someone else.
And she says, I really want to pick people that need this food.
Yeah.
The nourishment and stuff. Because she's supposed to be a mother figure. They say, she's a mother figure. And then what did she do?
So at that point, she's like, I want to pick people who really need it. And Charlie goes, don't pick me. It's okay. And Kenzie's like, yeah, I'm kind of good on that too. I had Applebee's. So at that point, it's between Venus, Liz, and Q. So she says, all right, I want everyone to kind of plead your case. Like, why should I take you? And Venus is offended by that. She's like, look, I don't want to beg somebody for food. If you want to take me, take me. If you don't, then don't. Don't take me then. So she's like, okay, I can pick Q, who just went on that big reward and took me, and I do want to pay him back for that.
Yes.
Or I could pick Liz, who really needs to eat. You two play rock, paper, scissors. And Q wins rock, paper, scissors, goes on reward. And the pizza losers, as Charlie referred to them, were incensed. They were so mad. And it was really funny seeing them all bond over it too. Like I keep saying, this season doesn't feel like Survivor at times. It feels like a sitcom. And it's a great sitcom. I love it. Yeah. And they're like, I understand wanting to take Ben. Ben hasn't really been able to eat as much. if she wanted to take Q because, you know, they're close or she wanted to pay him back, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just say it. Don't you dare say, I want to make people who haven't eaten and pick Q. Have Q play rock. They're like, she asked you to play rock, paper, scissors with Q? And didn't just give it to Liz? What's wrong with her?
Yeah,
it was so
she
funny.
plays this mother figure, but she really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Q saying, I'm on the 26th piece.
Yeah. He's like, I don't feel bad. I'm hungry. There was a point watching this episode where I don't remember if I said this to you, but I said to myself, Q is not going home tonight. There's no way because he has not gotten enough screen time.
Yeah.
It's like there's barely any Q in this episode, and the episode where he goes home, he is going to steal the spotlight.
Yep. So they eat, they're exploding, they're full, they're happy. Did they talk about any strategy?
So I think what they had said on the reward was, how about the three of us and Charlie work together and the four of us get to the end?
Yeah.
Where the pizza losers were saying, because before the challenge, everyone was saying, hey, Maria made this big move. She's now enemy number one. Let's vote out her.
That's right.
She wins immunity. And Charlie is doing everything he can to distance himself from Maria.
Yes.
He's like, don't take me.
Yes.
Hey, Q's really close to her now. Because everyone knows that Charlie and Maria are a pair. And he's like, hey, I'm really not her number one anymore. It's Q. We should get rid of this guy. Trust me. If you get rid of me, it's not going to do anything to her. You have to get rid of Q if you want to weaken her.
Yes.
And they're all like, yeah, like, we hate the dude. We want to get rid of him.
And in the background, Charlie's saying, anything to get the attention off of me.
Yeah, he's like, it gets the attention off of me. It gets it onto Q. I couldn't be happier with this.
Yeah.
And what was so interesting to me about this episode is the screen time was completely Charlie and Kenzie. And it makes me as like a viewer go, one of them is winning the game, and like there's no way anyone else is. Like Ben got one confessional with like 5 minutes left in the episode. Like he's not a factor. I don't think Liz is really gonna get much at Final Tribal Council. I don't think, and no one likes Q. I don't think he's gonna. They keep they're like Q.
Although sometimes when somebody's that awful, they say, man, what a game you played.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I think a few times. A person,
but I feel like it's just how much no one likes him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do well at a Final Tribal Council. I feel like you would take him because no one's picking him, and then it's between a couple other people.
Yeah.
But there's moments watching this where I thought to myself, I think this episode is showing why Kenzie will win and Charlie will lose. But there's other moments where I wasn't as sure. Like, for example, when it starts with Kenzie saying, I was left out of that vote. This, it was my move. It was taken from me. With the way it's edited, I felt like we were really supposed to sympathize with her.
Yeah.
And almost make it seem like, yeah, isn't that sad? She had this great move, but now she was left out of it. Now she feels like she's on the outs. We want to root for our hero to do well.
Yeah.
And when she's also saying, Charlie, everyone looks at Charlie like he's Maria's little jester. That was the term. And I love The Lion King, so I always think of like Mufasa's little stooge.
Yeah.
So you're like, look, no one is taking him seriously. It's like, it seems like he's like not terrible at the game, but he's with Maria, and it's always him and Maria. And with what just happened, it seems like it's Maria's moves. She's the threat, not him. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of me that says, maybe that is how the players on the island are viewing it, and although we as the audience keep seeing how important Charlie is, no one else does, and that's why he'll lose.
Yeah.
There's another part of me that goes, we see so much of Charlie and how he and Maria have driven every single vote, and how it always is like, what do Charlie and Maria want to do? What do Charlie and Maria want to do? But Charlie, at least as far as the edit is concerned, seems to be the more important of the two.
Yes.
And so it does make me wonder, is when Kenzie is saying Charlie's not all that important, are we supposed to agree with her? Or is it supposed to show her view of the game is skewed and she's not as good as she thinks she is? Because there's also her saying, Q is this huge threat to win. I'm like, I don't think that's supposed to be the case. And then she's talking about Venus, and I was like, this girl couldn't find an idol if she had a map to it. But Venus has Venus is the one that found it. But then I'm also seeing Charlie, before they go to tribal, is saying, I want to vote out Q. And the reason I want to vote out Q is because if Maria is my number one, Q is threatening to take my spot.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to go to Final Tribal with Maria because I don't want to be with someone who's played a very similar game to me and who was like one of the big moves of the season is getting rid of Tiff. That is her thing, not mine, and that could be the difference maker.
Yes.
So I have to get rid of her, but I can't right now because she won immunity. I have to weaken her, and I think getting rid of Q weakens her.
Yeah.
If I don't do this, if I don't vote out Q, I'm possibly burning bridges with people who really, really want him gone.
Yes.
And I'm keeping him around longer.
Yeah.
I'm also keeping someone Maria clearly wants to keep, which might be reinforcing that narrative
because
that I've
she's
heard.
Loyal. Maria's a very loyal. She's very loyal. She's loyal to Charlie. And because Q said we are the five, he came to her and brought her in. I don't know if that's where her loyalty began to him, or was it something we hadn't seen?
I think my understanding is she really appreciated the Six thing, and then after everyone made it clear, like, we don't care about this dude, she's like, you know what? I can still use him.
Yeah.
And the fact that no one else is using him, and I can see him as, like, he's essentially a free vote who will do what I want him to do to stay in the game. Yes. Why would I spurn him? Like,
I think she wants to take him to the
end. No, 100%.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what she wants to do.
She would like to take him to the end because she believes she'll win if she goes with him to the end.
And it was interesting, like, right before Tribal, it seems like Charlie was saying, if I don't vote out Q, people will be mad at me for keeping him around, and people will see that I did what Maria wanted to do, and it might lose me respect, and it's exactly what he ended up doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe Kenzie saying we all see him as Maria's little lackey is exactly what the jury is going to say. It's like, you didn't do anything that different. So if he's sitting next to Maria, at this point, it seems like Maria would beat him. If Maria is on the jury, she might be really hyping him up and saying, like, no, you guys don't understand how good of a game he played.
Yes.
Or because of how, like, mean-spirited this season is, she might just tear into him, and then no one respect. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. This season is so wild.
Oh, it's a wild season. Oh my word, the twists and the turns, and it's different. But it's exciting.
Oh, it's so fun.
Because you don't know what's going to happen next, So then, what happened?
I think after that, they went to Tribal.
Yeah.
And Venus doesn't play the idol, and she goes home with the idol in her pocket.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it be happening. This is 3 votes in a row where someone has thought Q was going home and he didn't go home, and they went home with their idol.
Yes.
Thrice in a row is I think I heard that this season broke the record.
It's unbelievable.
Because that's 4 people that have went home with an idol, because Jem had it right before right before the merge. That doesn't include Randon, who was medically evacuated with an idol. Yeah. The idol is just cursed this season.
They are.
It's so bad.
Jeff had his cushion, remember?
That's right, I forgot about that. He pulled out the red licorice, so like they were getting to divide the licorice. It was so funny.
It is. It's hilarious. It is so funny.
And like you can even tell with Jeff that he's having fun. He is loving this cast and the drama.
He really is.
He's like, people might be thinking that I'm going too soft if I'm giving you food. I'm like, I don't know. I think he's just...
Yeah. He's giving them food. He's hoping that they speak.
Yeah, exactly.
They are so vocal about each other. They don't care. They just...
Look at people in the middle of Tribal just be like, I hate you. Well, I hate you too.
Yes. It's so
gold.
Interesting. It is. And so we look forward to next Wednesday.
We do. So it looks like next week will be Maria's being openly targeted again, and we'll see what happens. She could win immunity. She might end up
Yes,
going
she's
home.
tough.
Maybe someone will finally target Charlie.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, you know what's probably going to happen is everyone wants Q to go home, and Q is a smokescreen. Someone else finds that idol, and they go
Yes.
home with the idol in their pocket.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably
That's
what's
more
going to
like
happen.
it. That's more like it. Another idol in the pocket.
And it's just like, yeah, it's just cursed.
It is. It is.
But I think that's it for this one, and we'll see you
Yeah.
later.